because a new day is about to come. Jenkins for mayor. Thank you. All right, so next up, we're going to get into the section of our program where we're going to talk about and highlight and celebrate and honor the women of the community. We're going to start off with Leslee Thomas, owner of Sight and Sound Event Center. So please get loud, get proud for Leslee Thomas to make it up to the stage.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
I just wanted to real quick just introduce myself, tell a little bit about my journey before I head out of here. Today is my daughter's 25th birthday, so we're rushing to go celebrate her. Thank you. So again, my name is Leslee Thomas. I come from a line of entrepreneurs. So back in 1958, my grandfather, Larry Wilburn, started Sight and Sound. Actually, 1958, it was Larry's Music Bar on D Street. So he was one of the first Black entrepreneurs here in Vegas, okay? 1976, we moved over to Martin Luther King, and that's where Larry Wilburn's Sight and Sound Music Center was established. Very well known in the community. We were there for 31 years at that address on MLK, and went through a lot over there. That's where we were going through the riots, all kind of stuff over there, right? Now we stand on MLK in Washington, where we've been for 27 years, and still Sight and Sound. Went through a lot just keeping up with the times and everything, so we had music in there, then we had home decor in there, then anything that just made sense. You know, music went out when everything else went out. 3 years ago, a lot of people know Angie in the community. If you know Sight and Sound, you know Angie. Anybody born here? Any natives? Okay, we got a couple. So anyhow, she decided she was done with the business. So me being born and raised in there from 1 year old, I'm like, I have to keep the community, the legacy going, my grandfather's legacy going. And I stepped in, took over. Sight and Sound then became Sight and Sound Candy and More. Why did I change from Sight and Sound Music? Again, music wasn't in. I need to still do something in the community, everything that he's been doing, but still make sense, right? So I thought about kids. Kids, toys, candy will never die out, right? At that time, this was right in the midst of COVID. Toys, probably not. Everything had closed down, Toys R Us, everything. So now you have everything online, Amazon, everything like that. That wouldn't make sense to me. Candy, a little more so, only because I thought about my childhood growing up. We had a candy lady. Anybody remember the candy lady? Yeah. So I'm like, you know what? I can let the kids nowadays know about the candy lady, how we grew up. At the same time, I can also become the modern day candy lady, right? So we had the old school candy for us. We had the modern day new candy for all the new kids, right? And it was still in the same building that everybody had grown up in. So they'll come in and they'll still be able to tell their kids about, this is where I got my first job. This is where I bought my first album. This is where I bought my first record player. This is where I had all these creative memories of my grandfather, right? So now it's a space that everybody remembered and can reminisce on. Did that, candy didn't last too long. So I'm like, you know what, I have to do something else. Let me also start doing kid events in here, right? So we have a candy store that now has kids parties and kids events and things like that. That worked for a minute as well. Then we started having adults that tried to have parties in this kiddie place, because you have candy on the walls, you got bears on the walls, so it didn't match with like bridal showers and stuff like that, right? So I went through a phase where I was like, you know what, this is not working. Times had gotten really hard, and I was actually gonna close. Everybody in the community rallied together and pretty much saved my store, right? December 27th of 2023, I decided, you know what? I'm a natural born entrepreneur. I'm a serial entrepreneur. I bleed entrepreneurship,
Okay.
right? This is all I know. Licensed massage therapist, opened the first and only family massage practice here in Vegas almost 20 years ago. I've written a children's book 4 years ago. I'm a licensed life insurance agent as well. I do a whole lot of stuff, right? So I was like, you know what, I'm used to revamping and recreating and figuring out what's gonna work, what needs to work, something that's gotta work like yesterday to save this, right? You have to have a different mindset when you're an entrepreneur versus somebody that works a 9 to 5. When you know that you don't depend on that every 2-week check, it hits a little different when you gotta get up every morning and what you do is what's making your family work, right? So another idea came up. I'm like, you know what, I'm not gonna let it go. Let me now turn this event center that people don't know is an event center because it still says Sight and Sound Candy anymore, right? Into an actual event center. So I took all of the kiddie stuff off the walls, repainted everything, remodeled. December 27th, I introduced Sight and Sound Event Center for everybody. As soon as I did that, it was history from there. So I'm booked all the way through October at this point. And I say all of this to say, for any of my entrepreneurs or any of my aspiring entrepreneurs, first of all, again, you have to have the mindset, right? Don't be afraid to step out on faith and do everything scared. If you're not doing it scared, then you're not doing it, right? No procrastination. That's one thing, I don't know if that's a strength or a weakness with me. But if I get an idea, I'm gonna do it. If it works, it works. But what'll never happen is the fact that I'm gone the next day because life isn't promised, or I wake up the next day and somebody has my idea without me trying it. So I'll never give you that opportunity, right? So again, Sight and Sound Event Center on all platforms. Leslee Ann Thomas, that's Leslie with 2 E's, Leslee, Anne Thomas. Oh, I also have this has nothing to do with anything, but I'm looking at my friend Alicia back there. One thing that happened in 2020, right? So that was a scary part of life for everybody. So I'm like, I'm doing a lot of stuff on my bucket list, right? I had a hysterectomy in 2022, major abdominal surgery, 2020, sorry. No, last year. And as I sat in that bed and I was recovering for those 3 months, again, my mind constantly goes. I'm like, what else can I do? What else can I do? I'm sitting here, I done gained, 30 pounds, right? I'm at my highest, 202 pounds. Highest with all my pregnancies. I act like I had a lot of kids, it's only 3. Since I've been pregnant, right? I've always been a gym rat. From the time I was in the military, I went to the military after high school, I was a nurse in the Navy. And I'm like, you know what, I've always wanted to do a competition. I always wanted to do a bodybuilding competition. I've trained for several of them, and life always happened, and I never got to do one. So when I got released from bed rest, my doctor said, you can ease back into the gym, right? The little bit that you guys know about me, I don't ease, right? So I got back in the gym, and my trainer was like, we have a competition coming up in June. Mind you, it's April. 9 weeks away. Okay, let's do it, right? That's on the bucket list. Now, I'm not going in to look like I want to look on stage. I'm not going in to win, right? I'm going in because I want the experience. Again, life is not promised, and I had just went through what I was going through. And I'm doing it for fun. And I want to see if I can actually do it because of the discipline that it takes. I did it. Yeah. I lost 40 pounds in 9 weeks. 10 inches off of my waist in 9 weeks. And this was just this past June at 46 years old. And I'm prepping now for the next competition in October. So you guys pray for me. I'm going to look how I want to look this time. And that's it. That's it.